Today I'm going to be testing these Prismacolor Col-Erase erasable colored pencils. There are 12 in this pack. It just has the basic colors, and it doesn't include a white. Each of the pencils has an eraser on the end. I have no idea how well that works, so we're going to find out. Obviously, the first thing I test is how well they erase. It looks like these pencils don't come pre-sharpened, but I already have this one sharpened, so I'm going to start with red. So I'm just coloring in a square, and I'm going to try the eraser. Don't know if this is a special eraser or if any eraser will work. And that works really well. I am actually surprised by that. Just not expecting it to erase that well. Let's try another color and see if that works the same. Both work really well, but I did notice the pencils smear a lot. It got all over my hands, if you can see that, and it's on the paper. So I'm going to try a normal eraser now. And that one might work even better. Now I have one more eraser to test, and it is an electric eraser. And I think that one works the best out of all of them. So the next thing I'm going to test is how well these pencils blend. I'm just going to start with drawing out a rectangle and shading that in with one color. And then shading in the other with another color. I always start lightly at first and then let it get gradually darker. They don't blend as well as the usual Prismacolors, but they blend alright. I've also noticed the lead is much harder than the usual Prismacolors, but they are really easy to sharpen, and I can get a very fine point without breaking the lead. So now I'm just coloring in a quick sphere, and I want to see how well these work with a solvent. A solvent just dissolves the colored pencil and it makes it smoother with less work versus burnishing. And you can go over it easier over a solvent versus a burnished paper. I use this odorless mineral spirits because it's archival, but rubbing alcohol works just as well. You can see this works really well here, and the pencils do have a lot of pigment. It's much smoother now. The pigment is also fairly true to the color on the pencil, which I think is nice. And the next thing I'm going to do is test these on black paper. I'm going to use a light color because it doesn't seem like a good test to use dark on dark. And it shows up really well. Here's a scribble because I'm not feeling very creative right now. And even the dark blue shows up pretty well. It looks better in person than it does on the camera. Overall, these seem like they could be pretty fun. So here for the real test, I have a sketch of a frog here, and I've sharpened all of my pencils. And I'm going to see how well they actually work in a full drawing. I'm not going to worry about highlights right away so that I can really test how well they erase. I'm immediately noticing here that the black isn't very pigmented, it looks pretty gray, so I'm adding in some purple and blue underneath to help it be a little bit darker. The other colors work pretty well though, and I really like adding the highlights. I think it makes it pop really well. Overall, these were a fun experiment and I enjoyed testing these pencils. I am a little disappointed in the black pencil, and they don't layer as well as I'd hoped. I do think they'd be a lot of fun in some mixed media drawing. I do know they're not light fast, if that makes any difference to you, so they will fade in years. But if you're looking for an erasable colored pencils, these definitely work well for that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what other art supplies you'd like to see me test.